Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the stream. Guys, we are going to be talking today about some things. I was originally going to be doing this um, on Sunday. Hey, Glenn, what's up, man? Glenn is going to be one of the people that is going to be joining us here. And for those that watch this every week, we are going to be uploading this on your favorite platforms. We are going to be having this on Twitter and YouTube, as well as Facebook Gaming also. So yeah, we are expecting two other people to join as well as Glenn. So a couple of things that we're going to be talking about today is kind of the state of gaming, what people like to play, and what the common misconceptions are with people that game, and how they feel about those things. There's going to be some pretty good stuff here, and I really value everybody's opinion that gives these types of things during these, if you will, these, I don't know even what you want to call it. It's not really a podcast because it's being streamed. But I guess that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind, honestly. So without further ado, I'm actually going to give a call here now. Let's see here. Seeing if we can get everybody in here all at once.
Hey, Bobby, how's it going?
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm very good.
Awesome, awesome. So I know you heard a little bit about what we're going to be talking about here. What is your first take on that, man?
Like the state of gaming, or the like just how people receive it.
Yeah, like, so people look at you, they see you play games, on your nights off or your time off or whatever. What is like the common thing that people say to you or whatever about it, and how do you feel?
I'm not sure. So most of the time, I find like my energy will fluctuate, especially like with streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I find the best. A lot of games I find are probably not. They're not like the best vibe for streams. Especially, it depends on like what you want your stream to be like,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what kind of persona you want to put on, I guess. I find that just games that require a lot of attention, uh, personally, are best for off stream.
Okay.
For example, like Elden Ring. That game came out recently, and it like whenever I stream it, I don't get a lot of viewers mainly because I think it's just I'm too focused on the game. I'm like, dude, it's too intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. What
Yeah.
about the people that are around you? Like, do they have any like misconceptions about you, or do they just really excited about the fact that you game and stream and all that? What about the people in your life?
So yeah, I don't really have a lot of information on that, unfortunately. I find like my roommates are very supportive. They also stream, so they kind of have that vibe of like, hey, we got to help each other out,
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of fun, and just try and support each other. But other people in my life, I don't really get a lot of support from like family or friends. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
the time, it's just other people in the streaming community. Like, not and my parents don't give a heck about my
Nice.
stream. So a lot of that, like I'll post to social medias to try and see coax maybe something from friends or family, but I rarely get any responses.
That's good. Hey, Shadow, welcome to the stream, man. For me, what I tend to find is like among the streaming community, because that's actually, after all this time in gaming, I found that the people that I've made friends with the most are in the gaming community. So, like, the majority of them are just amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, my family, on the other hand, my wife just kind of like whatever that's his hobby, whatever. But a lot of people they judge that like, okay, you're a gamer, so like all you do is play games. You're not serious. You're not serious about life. You don't really have any lifelong goals or anything else the case might be. And I feel like that's kind of like a giant misconception that people have over gamers.
I agree. I agree. I think that's a. I think people don't realize how much work has to go into streaming. Like a lot of there's a lot of work that has to be done behind the scenes. Not only in just setting up your stream, making it look nice and all that, but it's like the daily need to reach out and put yourself out there, put out to social media. Just try and even get like a modest amount of an audience.
Mm.
It's it's crazy.
So how do you balance that with your regular everyday life? I'm not too sure exactly like what you do for a living per se or whatever, but like how do you
Oh,
balance that and still have that? Because I've been on your stream so many times. I actually really love being on your stream. It's so positive, and you're one of the best streamers that I actually watch. And I see that you got that really great vibe going on. So how do you balance that and still maintain that energy that you have on that stream?
well, thanks, man. It. So I work as an actor and I work as a waiter as
Mm-hmm.
like my day job. My acting is so rare, but that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not too tough for me per se. It's just the fact that I have to make sure that I don't burn myself out on both things because both like streaming and being working in the restaurant industry is like
Mm-hmm.
both socializing heavily. So if I overdo it, I can just kind of burn myself out and just be too tired to want to be talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm not I'm not too great of an I just need time to regenerate, I guess, and heal, get my battery charged between streaming and working.
Yeah.
So I tend to just oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go. No, please.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I just tend to just focus on my work while I'm at work, and then when I'm off, I spend just a fair amount of time streaming. I don't stream like every single day, so it's thankfully I'll have like days to relax.
Of course. Are there any streamers that you follow in particular? Then what reasons do you like them as far as streaming is concerned?
Recently, out of the ones that I've found, the ones I follow like very consistently, there's one called Wildez.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Tarkov streamer. He is amazing because he kind of he has that similar vibe of like he's chill but very friendly and welcoming,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really smart with how he puts himself out. He's a good example for like TikTok and
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. He's very consistent with those and finds like comedic ideas to use. Um, he's very inspiring, um, and uses a lot of good ideas. Another one is Kalinator.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in all caps, and he kind of has that Doctor Disrespect vibe, where it's like this '80s synthwave thing,
Yeah.
but he tackles it with like his own style and flair, with his like he calls it the $1 million mullet,
The
which is
$1 million mullet.
yeah, yeah, right, it's great. So he's very very energetic, very much a personality, and so he's similar. He has like he tackles it, and I think he just got partner too. So like
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
he's just very very smart, and it's cool to take those ideas and use them. I think
Mm-hmm.
from these successful streamers.
For sure. Now, well, I going back to one of the things you just said, I do like that input, and I've been considering the same thing kind of myself. Is like I'm a League of Legends streamer for the most part.
Right.
I do versatility stream, but I've been kind of pulling away from that a lot because, like, as much as these other players, a lot of times they get a ton of their followers because they're really good and they're very, very entertaining. But like you were saying, being so focused on trying to win and trying to do those things, I'm not really able oftentimes to kind of give the kind of energy that I would like to the chat and to actually focus on them rather than just being like mentally engrossed in the game itself.
Right. Yeah, I think there are totally many different ways you can approach streaming. Right. There's definitely a lot. Some people will get their fame from being the best. Right.
Hmm.
That's tough, and it's really a challenge to kind of keep yourself being the best. Right. It's like you have to
Hmm.
constantly prove that hey, I'm good. I'm good. So I find it's more fun to just approach it as like a hobby first. That
Hmm.
way you can really have fun with it, and you
Yeah.
can meet like you were saying, you can meet like some of your best friends through streaming and some like really nice people that will
Hmm.
support you. Um, yeah, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Okay. So right now there's so many games coming out right now, some really really good ones, especially up into the last quarter of this year that's going to be coming out, like Breath of the Wild 2. I know Horizon Zero Dawn, or excuse me, Forbidden West just came out. What's your take on that as far as all these new games coming out? Are you really excited to see any particular titles? What really excites you about the state of gaming that we're in right now?
Right. Wow. Really good question. Yeah, that's awesome. So I think there's a it's a give and take. I think there's a lot of really good games coming out recently that are really breaking the mold,
Hmm.
but I think also there's a lot of companies that are kind of getting conceited. I guess they're just getting a bit too comfortable,
Hmm.
and they're doing this too much of the same thing.
Hmm.
And it's always good to use your strengths, but I find some companies recently with their games are just approaching it with all their weaknesses. They're not using like like um like that when Battlefield released, unfortunately, the 2042.
Hmm.
I was pretty excited for it, but it flopped really hard just
Yeah.
because they didn't use any of the tools that were necessary to support themselves. They rushed their release. They
Hmm.
didn't have post game support. They let it just sit there for months without updating, and so it just died. And I think companies should try to take from the past of games where they
Hmm.
will, unfortunately, delay or take longer times, but come out with a full product,
I yeah, I
and
agree.
meet,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, and meet the hype compared to rushing it and then trying to fix problems later.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, there are companies that are doing that and they're actually breaking the mold, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, we had Elden Ring, which was like such a success that in a month they sold 12 million copies. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of companies are doing that. It's just I think like I said, I'm conflicted. There's some people doing really well, and some people are not. So, yeah, really good question. That's awesome.
Yeah, and going back on some of the titles that you mentioned there, it brings me back to a realization of when they released Watch Dogs 2, right?
Oh
They
God, yeah.
they projected this high end graphic scenery that would be played on PCs, and then the release was completely different than what they actually tried to describe. And I feel like what you said about Battlefield 2042, they didn't actually lean on what made Battlefield such a great title to begin with. Like I never forget when I first started playing Battlefield 3 and 4 and 5, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
man, this is such a great game. The graphics are amazing, the physics are great, and I feel like what you were saying, they dropped the ball when they released 2042, and it's really more like kind of cartoony. There's not that really heavy physics aspect, and yeah, they just really didn't deliver on what was expected of them.
Totally. Yeah. Like it was. I was really excited when they were showing off like the weather effects and destruction there, and from the previous games, how they kept adding this destructive element, how destructible environments and all this interaction, and then really the tornado was the only thing. There was nothing else. It was just tornado, and that's it. And I was like, oh, like
Come,
you had you had such an opportunity to do more with that, but
yeah.
again, it felt rushed. They just threw that in because oh, this looks cool. Yeah, they didn't like you said they didn't deliver on the expectations of like what a Battlefield game is.
Yeah. So I saw you were playing a little bit of Elden Ring. I haven't played it myself, but I've seen a lot of videos on it, like people how to do this, how to get this
Right.
boss, how to get this weapons, how to. What's your take on the game overall? Do you really really like it, or is it just kind of something that you kind of got into, you played a little bit, and you kind of dropped it? And tell me a little bit why.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's another good question. I think Elden Ring is like beyond amazing. So I used to play Dark Souls on the Xbox forever ago when it kind of was starting to become popular. It was starting to pick up traction. I picked it up, and so FromSoft is an amazing example of a company that uses their strengths
Hmm.
and constantly innovates and improves on their base like ideas. So ever since Demon Souls, I think it was called, yeah, they've been kind of doing the similar game style of this survival, uh, you know, this survival open worldy. Well, not really open world, but anyway, Elden Ring is kind of like their masterpiece. It's amazing. They've
Mm-hmm.
taken a lot of great elements from games and just cranked it to the max. It's honestly incredible. Dark Souls is a tough game
Mm-hmm.
that's very hard, and I wouldn't really recommend for everyone. But Elden Ring has so much options and so many ideas in it that I think anyone can play this game, even if it is a difficult game.
Mm-hmm.
It lends itself to try again, and there's so many. Since it's open world, you can go anywhere you want. If you're having problems, you can turn around, go a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, it's probably their best game yet, and it's honestly the best time to jump into a game like this is early, when
Mm-hmm.
things are still being discovered, and that way you can't just go online and look everything up. It's awesome. It's an amazing game. My thoughts are, yeah, it's great. I've spent way too long playing
Well, what about your character? What do you like to play on? Are you like a mage? You like the whole
Oh yeah.
swordsman thing? What's your go-to in that?
I usually go strength builds. That's me. I just like throwing around the really big chunky weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like Elden Ring itself doesn't lend itself to that. There's not a whole lot of options for strength weapons. There's some. There is definitely some, but it really feels like the game has a lot of like spells, like
Mm-hmm.
intelligent spells. So I've not tried it yet, but I want to. I mostly stick to like faith, like
Mm-hmm.
healing magic and like fire and lightning and
Okay.
yeah, barbarian stuff.
Nice. Shadow says so, kind of like a barbarian there.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yes, pretty much, almost exactly. I just like hitting big things with big things.
Now, one of the things is I'm actually working with a company called Pipeline. Have you heard of it?
Oh, cool. No, I haven't.
So Pipeline is I guess if you want to say a conglomerate of a ton of streamers. One of the major streamers you might recognize that runs this, his name is Stone Mountain. Um, and partnered with a lot of different companies that actually work with them to better streamers and to give like more insights on how to become better and things like that. And I'm learning from them as I go as well. And one of the things that they've talked about is not to necessarily stream the big trends because
Right.
there's going to be such a what's the word they use? Not inflated market, but a large market of people doing that, so that there's no
Totally.
difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So right now, like, or when Lost Ark dropped, there was like hundreds of streamers across the world, thousands of streamers across the world were streaming Lost Ark. So if you wanted to watch a good Lost Ark gameplay, you had to wade through tons of people that are streaming to find that one streamer that actually excited you about the game and made you enjoy watching them. Um, what is your take on that thought process, and what would you tell people that are getting into streaming for these things?
I think I totally agree. I think that's a really good mindset is to really trends are something that aren't great approach unless you're already big.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you just said, when you go and click on the first when a new game drops and you click on the streaming tab for that stream,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see the top like 20 people, and then you have to start scrolling. And yeah, like why would you start scrolling when you can look at the top 20, and
Mm-hmm.
by then you're probably going to find someone who matches your energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
um I think, yeah, I think trends are really good to follow in like uh in certain ways, like maybe YouTube is a
Mm-hmm.
good idea, because that way it's a set video and then you can kind of show yourself off there.
Mm-hmm.
But for streaming, I think the best idea is to really just find what you like, do what you like, and people will come. Um, Most of the time, I found most of my viewers came from when I do these really really weird niche games. Like when I first streamed, what the hell was it? It was an MMO. It was called The Secret World. When I
Mm-hmm.
first streamed The Secret World, I got a ton of viewers, mainly because no one in the entire world was streaming the game at the time. It was just me. So I had a bunch of people jump in, And I'm like, oh, cool, okay. I guess I'm the only one streaming this game. So
Nice.
yeah, it just finding games you enjoy, playing
Mm-hmm.
them, and I'm sure people will come, even if it's popular or not. There's gonna be somebody who likes that game.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
It's kind, yeah, it's kind of why I want to get a capture card. I have a bunch of old PlayStation 2 games I really like
Mm-hmm.
that I want to stream, but that's for another day.
Well, are you dead set on a particular type of capture card? Because there's actually a few that are really cheap, and they are actually USB based. And it's pretty cool that the way they work, you can get one from Elgato right now for relatively cheap, and you plug the USB into the thing that you want it to, and then you literally just stream it through there. It's really cool. And there's a couple of different ones out there, but Elgato is probably one of the cheaper ones. But the
Right.
Razer makes one that's an USB based one, and you just connect one into the other.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I'm not set on anyone in particular. So yeah, if there's a USB one, that sounds amazing.
Hmm. Now they do have the ones that you have to open up your computer and you lose a slot for, and then you can just take an HDMI cable from, say, whatever, from your PlayStation 2 and plug it directly into that, and it'll work fine that way as well. But you can definitely use the USB one, and it works flawlessly.
Oh, right on. Oh yeah, I see it here right now. Actually, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like a GPU slot or something.
Yep. So, but yeah, the USB one has on one end it's like an HDMI port, and the other will plug directly into your PC, so you can convert whatever. Like if you're trying to go from an older console, you can convert that RGB to USB to that, and it'll work fine. But for something new like a Switch or something like that, or a PlayStation 2, you should be able to do that.
Right on. Yeah,
Um,
I definitely need to pick up one. I'll just start saving up.
nice. So once you tell me a little bit about like yourself and what your goals are with streaming, or is it just something that you want to have fun with? Are you looking to have it be like a full-time thing? Would you be okay with it if it was? Tell me a little bit about yourself and everybody else here and like those goals that you have.
For sure, yeah. So streaming for me initially, I just want it to be a hobby. I want to be something that I can kind of just have fun with and meet people.
Hmm.
And I always found, like I've talked to the reason why we stream our D&D games too is it's just a way to kind of be social while I play these things. 'Cause I'm playing them anyway. I may as well do something with my time, right? Instead of just
Hmm.
sitting around playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a variety streamer. I just like playing video games and having a good time. I'll
Hmm.
play pretty much anything I enjoy, which literally could be anything. And yeah, I just like spending my free time streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were streaming some game yesterday. I didn't quite understand what was going on. People were putting some bot comments in and they were
Oh, right.
sending stuff. So how does that all work?
Yeah, so we were playing RimWorld. Normally, if you're playing it without mods, it's like a survival simulation game where it's a top-down game. You're controlling a bunch of little characters that
Hmm.
run around and do a daily job, and the whole setting for it is you're on a alien world far away from like the center of the galaxy. You're on the rim world. You're on the edge of the galaxy in a strange planet full of tons of stuff, and everything is rare. So, someone may have a laser gun,
Hmm.
whereas the rest of the planet's all a bunch of medieval peasants with pickaxes and, like pitchforks, right?
Nice.
And their lord is the guy with the laser gun, right? Because he has a laser gun.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the setting, but I have a ton of mods, and one of them makes it so it's very interactive. It's called the Twitch Toolkit,
Hmm.
and it makes it so players can spawn their own character in that, edit their own character, and also even spawn items and events
Oh,
that the game
wow.
normally allows. Yeah, with generated coins that they get from just watching.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I just got it working yesterday too, so that was my first kind of run with it. I was just trying to, I guess, flounder through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like I said, for the most part, I do play a lot of League. It's kind of whatever. But like I said, I've been kind of changing it up a little bit because I do this to have fun. I would like for it to become something more full time because I enjoy the community of gaming. Um, and I played this game called Plague. It's an Innocence Tale or Tale of Innocence or whatever. Have you heard of this game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
I've seen it on Steam a few times, and it looked. I kept seeing like, isn't it a World War I like a story?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. It revolves around everybody getting this plague and beginning to die, and they're chasing this. It's a well-off family, and they're chasing this little boy who has the plague, and his sister, who's your main protagonist. You're supposed to take your little brother and save him, and go. You're basically on this long journey in this open world or whatever. I guess it's not really open world per se, but this long journey of beautiful graphics trying to escape everybody chasing you, trying to kill this little boy. And there's complete with puzzles using both of them, and there's not really weapons. You really have to kind of strategize the way you do things. I don't know if you've seen any of the trailer on that or if is something that interests you.
Right. Definitely. I love games like that with like heavy stories.
It's actually won a ton of awards, and the second one is actually about to release on PC, actually.
Oh, there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
That's very cool. I think I haven't really streamed any story-heavy games recently, just because well, I mean, technically I played Fallout, and
Mm-hmm.
that's arguably a story-driven game, but I think that would be a very fun thing to do. Is yeah, like a game like that where it's very like heavily story-based.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, Shadow, definitely. Definitely. Now, given a lot of the new games that are coming out, have you seen anything about this new space game from Bethesda? Are you a Skyrim fan, I guess, first of all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Bethesda they're one of those people who make, and to use Fallout 76 as an example, they will definitely release buggy messes, but
Mhm.
they're willing to owe up to it and fix it, because from what I've seen, I've never played Fallout 76, but from what I've seen, they've really fixed a lot of the problems people were having with that game,
Mhm.
which is amazing. So it goes to show that they're willing to tweak what mistakes they've made, and if it's not a bug, it's a feature, right?
Right? Exactly. Well, one of the cool things about a Skyrim lover like myself is if there is a bug, why not exploit it, right? Like climb the mountain or whatever.
Yeah, it always makes me think of there's always I forget the YouTuber's name, but there's always those YouTube series of like the Skyrim no running challenge or no walking challenge, right? And it's them using like shouts and weird glitches to move around the map. It's bizarre.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's very fun to watch.
Now, have you seen anything about this space game yet? Because I've watched a little bit of trailer on it actually, and it's supposed to be the quote unquote Skyrim in space is what they're referring to it as.
Really? I don't think I've seen a thing on it. What's it
Um,
called?
Let me give you the title of it here.
Sure.
Pull this up.
Yeah, I haven't heard a single word. The only thing I know from Bethesda is the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, that's definitely. They're hoping that comes out soon, but it's actually going to be called Starfield. Um,
Starfield.
it looks like it's going to release in November of this year. Is the go-to time frame on it?
Oh. Yeah, this looks amazing. Whoa.
It's going to be an open world in space by Bethesda. That you're literally going to be doing, quests and talking to people and getting married and all these things. So
Right. Yeah, the artwork is very evocative. That's awesome.
I think you can look it up on Steam as well. I think that's going to be one of the releases on it.
Officially listed. All right. Well.
So definitely going to be something that I'm really looking forward to. I might disappear for a while.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't blame you.
Sounds like Final Fantasy 14 online, except in space. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to be like an online based game, though. I don't know if there's going to be like actual interaction with real people as much as there is interaction with NPCs in the game. I've not really seen you play Skyrim, so I don't know if you're really familiar with it, Decoder. But it would be cool if it was an online. I don't know. How do you feel about the Elder Scrolls Online game that they released a while back?
Me myself or Cody?
Yeah,
You're talking about
you.
Cody.
Absolutely.
Elder Scrolls Online, I actually never played. I've heard. I've kind of wanted to get into it. One of my friends was suggesting it.
Mm-hmm.
From what I heard, again, kind of akin to Fallout 76, is when it first released, people were having a lot of problems. But
Mm-hmm.
now that it's been tuned and touched up, it's apparently very good. It has a lot. Apparently, has an amazing element of story to it too.
Mm-hmm.
That even though it does retcon some old concepts, it's apparently very enjoyable. So, um, I don't want to give too. I don't want to weigh in too much because I don't know a lot. But from what I can tell, it looks very fun.
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely does. One thing for me when it comes to like MMOs like that, they're awesome, but the kind of time that's required to devote into an MMO is a lot. And that's nothing wrong with those that like to play it. If they can, I think that's great. It gives you good interaction with other people and lots of things. But I played a game called Guild Wars for a long time. Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2.
Oh yeah.
And I find that I'm having to spend 8 and 10 and 12 hours almost daily to get headway into the game. Is that something you're used to seeing in your games, or do you just play games that you can just kind of chill and it doesn't really matter?
The only game I've had a lot of interaction with, like having to grind, is Tarkov. It's Escape from Tarkov.
Hmm.
That game's kind of similar to an MMO in that sense, where you need to level yourself up, get your character leveled, build up your base, whatever, and be able to like craft and get all the good gear.
Hmm.
Um, but really, I don't. I personally, I'm not the other than that game, because that game's a first-person shooter and it's heavily multiplayer and fun. It's more of a horror game.
Hmm.
uh, Other than that, I don't really like touching games like that. I'm not personally. I don't really like games that require that huge investment.
Hmm.
Just because a lot of the times, yeah, I'll need to dip for work, or I just kind of lose interest. And
Hmm.
if I spend that much time in a game and I lose interest, I'm like, oh man, I spent like 20 hours grinding for this item, and now I don't want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, I appreciate your question. Yeah, definitely, games like that have their own genre of people that play it, and I think it's awesome that people play that are able to play games like that. But yeah, definitely for me, it's kind of not my cup of tea either. Um, Now,
Yeah,
you
that's why
said
I
you.
like games like League. It's because it's more of a skill thing, right? You
Hmm.
you build up a skill over time in these type of games that you
Hmm.
can then use in other games and just in general in video games, uh, that you don't really lose when you drop the game.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, you play League a lot, so you have experience with that top-down kind of skill shot based,
Hmm.
skill usage games. So you can use that in a lot of other games instead of having to, I just got the epic sword from, like World of Warcraft, and now I can't use that if I don't
Hmm.
want to, if I stop playing.
That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Another game that's like Souls that I've seen. I say like Souls, but I don't know if it's really much entirely like it. But it is called. I have it here. Where is it? I, where did you go? The game. Lords of the Fallen is what it's called. It's it's much like Souls in the sense that it's not an easy game, and if you die, all the monsters that you just killed respawn.
Oh, okay.
And I got to the first boss, which looks incredibly like Mordekaiser from League of Legends, and you're trying to fight him in this church, and like one of the first couple of attacks he does knocks the entire church roof off and all the pews, and he can one shot you.
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, I'm definitely not good enough necessarily to play that game per se, or maybe I put it on normal and probably should have put it on easy. I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, games like that, that it's games like that that are kind of rough because that's why I don't really recommend games like that to everyone.
Hmm.
That's why I would recommend Elden Ring to everyone is because yes, it has that difficulty for sure,
Hmm.
but there's also the option to not approach the difficult things. You can go in uh, different directions. You can go fight different enemies that or just go down different trees and find different items
Hmm.
that might help you level up. And by the time you come back, your character can be way more powerful to the point that the enemy you were having troubles with is a breeze.
Hmm.
It's a very fun game, I think. That kind of breaks that mold of difficulty in games, and
Hmm.
it doesn't even have a difficulty slider. You are locked to one difficulty. You play it. Everyone's playing the same game, same difficulty. It's just kind of like how you approach things, I guess.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
that's true. So,
But I like the visuals you were talking about the game. It like tears down the whole roof. That's amazing.
oh yeah, it's pretty
It looks
nuts.
awesome.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
graphics on the game. I just gotta get better, I guess, at it.
I don't know. I've never played it.
but so one, I got a couple more questions here listed. I was expecting a couple other people to kind of join in, but it looks like Dakota is still going to be at work, and Looney is doing whatever it is she's doing. So
Right.
we may end up picking this up for another session. But um, as I was talking about, like all these, new games coming out, and all this great stuff. Where do you think gaming stands overall when it comes to not just the games coming out per se, but in generally speaking, do you think that it has like a really bright future, given the download onlys, and from a logistics standpoint, as well as newer kids coming into gaming? Do you think it's kind of taking a different turn? Where do you think we're going to be heading?
Honest, I'm not sure where gaming is heading. I guess I don't really follow all gaming in general, but I always like to stay positive. I think a lot of games have a lot of good ideas, even if I personally don't like them.
Hmm.
A lot of developers are smart and will use these ideas well, and obviously the good ones. I find throughout history the good games are always in the limelight, right? They're always
Hmm.
there. They're always shown when a good game comes out and is good and people are enjoying it, the reviews will show, the people will talk about it. Thankfully, I think like YouTube, Twitch, we're very since it's so connected, it's so quick to get info out,
Hmm.
and it's very nice that we have this ability to be like, I don't like this. I don't know if I like this game yet. Let's see some reviews first.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. I'm pretty confident in the gaming industry to make good games.
Yes, awesome. And I'm glad that Dakota mentioned that. I fixed that a little bit. We'll be going through the track and actually raising his volume up a little bit on it. Um,
Oh yeah, no worries.
so
Thankfully, we don't talk over each other. We're all good.
no, yeah, for sure. Well, I guess like I said, I was expecting a little bit more. What would you else would you like to say to everybody here for this before we wrap this up? Unfortunately, Dakota, like I said, isn't going to be off for a while. Looney's not here, and Miller never joined, so it just kind of fell through. It was supposed to happen on Sunday, but I guess it all just kind of dropped.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm just I'm glad to be on here. I'm glad that you're a very positive guy. Uh, you're and so supportive. I just want to thank anyone who's watching. Please keep watching Bobby. He's a awesome dude. He's got a lot of great ideas. He came prepared. Like you hear all those amazing questions he had. That was great. Um, yeah. I don't know. I think you got a bright mind on you.
Well, you too,
Uh,
and guys, whoever's watching this and who's going to be watching it from the YouTube as well, and the different sections this is being uploaded to, please check out Over the Glen. He's probably one of my favorite streamers, like I said, to watch. Amazing energy. I wish I could kind of keep up, and I think I need to eat a lot more sugar. But he's
no,
awesome.
man, you're good. You're good. Like again, just have you have your style, and I think you from what I can tell, as we've encountered each other in chats, but I've only been able to kind of talk to you now. You're very smart. You have a lot of you have a very good vocabulary. You're using these questions you had prepped. It sounds like you came prepared, which is awesome. That's a lot of people usually just wing things like this. They're like, "Oh, let's just talk," right? So like, hats off to you, man.
Well, I definitely would look forward to doing more of this with a lot of the people, especially you as well. I'm going to be having more of these and trying to get as many people in this as possible because I really love your guys' opinion, especially yours, man. Like you are spot on with everything that you're saying, and it's just been an absolute pleasure, man. I really appreciate you coming on for this.
Yeah, I really appreciate the invite, man. I'll definitely be like as long as like I'd love to interact with you guys more and just do more stuff. I think like just being able to commit and interact with you guys, do stuff, and even just chat. It's awesome. It gets me involved a bit more, right? Instead of me just going, all right, time to stream. Yeah, all right, time to go to bed. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely, like I said, you're one of my favorite streamers, man. I look forward to seeing you stream. When are you going to be streaming next so everybody can catch you on that?
We got Fallout Wednesdays today, so eventually later tonight I'll be playing Fallout. That's just the typical. I'm playing New Vegas.
All right. Well, then I'll be catching you then, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
All right. You guys take care. You take care of yourself as well, man. And like again, thanks again for coming. And hope to see you again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Stay hydrated.
Right. Take care.
All right. Take care, Bobby. Thanks again, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, check out Over the Glen, one of the absolute best streamers that I've met so far. Oh, we got a hydration spell going on from Shadow as well, so let's get it. But yeah, check him out, man, if you haven't already. All of you guys on Facebook and my Twitter as well. Go ahead and hit him up, and oh, y'all beautiful. And we're going to see Glenn being one of the next best actors coming up soon, hopefully. That's my hope anyway. He definitely has the ability to do it. So guys, I'm going to be ending here. Just had to, my good sir. Right on, man. So yeah, I'll be ending this here. I will be streaming later on tonight as well, but I definitely am going to be checking out Glenn, and I might stream his stream, and we'll kind of pick on him and talk about how good he is, and then make fun of him too, or make fun of myself because my face is kind of... But anyways, thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more like this.